Ladies and gentlemen, adjust your headphones.
Come on in and shut the front door. You're welcome to the You Should Know podcast. The news from the antagonist shoes. Mike, how you doing in this sweltering London heat that we're enjoying today?
Yeah, the sun said better late than never. Better late than never. It's weird being September and it being so good outside.
We'll get used to it.
Well, we're gonna have to. But no, I'm good. I'm all right, man. Just feeling a bit of a somber mood. Like, obviously, we've had quite a few celebrity deaths in the last week, and obviously last week as well, Sean Locke. So it's a bit sombering. I guess anytime there's a death, it makes you question your mortality, doesn't it? And makes you appreciate life for what it is.
Yeah, definitely. I think you start to realize what really matters in life. And I guess it helps to refocus people who may think, I'm complaining about this and that. You go, do you know what? Is life that bad? I'm breathing.
Exactly. So next time I check how many people are checking into the podcast, I need to remember what is most important. The numbers aren't important. The fact that I'm alive and well and can
triggered.
Record the podcast is the most important thing. But no, on a serious note, obviously, rest in peace to Michael K. Williams, Sarah Harding, Phil Gerard, and obviously Mr. Sean Locke, who passed away. So may they rest in peace. They made their mark on the world, and that's all you can strive for.
Yeah, definitely. And I think their content's out there. Actually, when there's a death, people tend to gravitate towards their work and artistry. So for everyone who hasn't, go out and check it. You might find something you really enjoy.
Most definitely. All right, let's get into it.
Cool. So let's jump into the Undercover Gems. Some of the weird and wonderful stories you may not have seen in the news. So, Mike, man dies, right, during sex. During sex from using what? During sex.
What? Mm-hmm. Man died. Yo. Mm-hmm. That is different gravy. What kind of nut was he busting that he dies? What? He used something.
Yeah, during the act of sex, they were using something.
Oh man!
And during the having intercourse, dude sadly passed away.
I can only think that they must have put something up his bum that like triggered his prostate or something like that, and like got him spazzing out. I don't know. I've never had a near-death experience during intercourse. I never had a patient come to the hospital with a near-death experience following intercourse.
Well, this guy didn't make it out. This one didn't make it out. There's no near-death.
That is, geez.
He went through the tunnel.
No, I don't even. Literally, the only thing I got is he must have got some mad electric dildo, just rammed it into his backside and maybe perforated his rectum or something like that. That's all I got.
No, I'll put you out of your misery. Man dies after using epoxy resin as DIY protection instead of condom. So there's an Indian man, right?
Yeah.
He died he suffered the cataclysmic organ failure, right?
Yo.
After he skipped the use of a condom for a high-powered epoxy resin while having sex. Everyone doesn't know this is fairly lethal to the common human being, okay?
Epoxy resin, what the hell is that?
It's a resin. but it's a dangerous substance, that you shouldn't really be using, okay? Right? And it's an adhesive as well.
Oh, shit.
So what happened is this adhesive sealed off, I think his name is, I think we got one of his name, Misra. He sealed off his penis, right? And the resins were then inside his body.
Oh, snap.
His body. And then obviously they led to organ failure at the end. So he was using it as a substitute for a condom, okay? And it's primarily like a whitener, it's just a mixture of resins that they use, And so, unfortunately, during intercourse, he's obviously used it with his girl. Yeah, he's only 25 years as well. Yeah. And his situation was deteriorating. And unfortunately, when they rushed him to the hospital, there wasn't much they could do for him. And he sadly passed away. So I don't know if this episode, I don't know if the rest of the episode is going to be laced with death. But
R.I.P. to him too. I I just don't understand. Like, I know as a medical professional, I shouldn't say this, but why didn't he just go raw? That's what I don't understand. Like, what?
Like, I don't think that, you know, I don't know what, you know, contraception or, you know, handling abortions is like in India. I don't know. Right. So maybe this was a suitable solution. Right. There may be people who have told him or people there who use it. I don't know if anyone's listening from India. You may have a bit more insight, but it may be something that they do and it just didn't work for him.
Having a child can't be this bad, man. Like, an STI. I'll take the STI. That is, if it's his girl, then the STI shouldn't even be a threat. It's just a child thing.
I think it's to do with pregnancy, and boy, I don't know how many kids they got already. They may have 9. I'm not trying to get this 10.
True. So. Damn, man, that is serious. Yeah, no. Fortunately, my case is nothing to do with death. It's linked with a man doing something very questionable, but it's not due to someone dying. So what I've got for you is man swallows what? So man swallows a foreign object. What would you guess this foreign object is? And I'll give you a bit of context. I don't have it. I'm going to make up the context. Just imagine he was being chased by the police. So man swallows foreign object. I'm just going to give you some context to make it interesting. He's been chased by the authorities.
He's still alive. Have they recovered the object?
No, they've recovered the object. The man is fortunately still alive. So he can ponder his decision making. But yeah, he's still around.
Right. I don't know what. So he was running from the police.
Yeah, that's just a source I've added. They didn't say, but let's make it interesting.
Okay, right. Okay, cool. And he swallowed. Well, it must be some kind of jewelry, maybe. Jewelry. I think you may think you can get away with that.
This is in Kosovo. I don't know if that changes your thinking, but this is in Kosovo.
Not really. Yeah, it's got to be either jewelry. It can't be anything larger than that because maybe keys.
Keys
or
keys. Whose keys? His keys. He's running away with the police.
Maybe it's the. I don't know. It's the.
You think he's a security guard to somewhere important?
Maybe they put him in handcuffs and he put the police in handcuffs and ran with the key.
Oh my God. So he swallowed the key and said they will never get free.
He said, "You'll never get me, copper. You'll never get me." Yeah, it's got to be either keys, jewelry, something shiny. Can't be anything like a phone or a gun or anything like that. So
it can't be. But in this case. It was. You said it can't be a phone. It was a phone. Man swallows what looks like a Nokia
phone.
3310.
What, a flip phone? What kind of?
No, like a 33. It looks like a 3310.
Yeah, I was about to say, fam, because
man just
you can't be swallowing the modern day phone. iPhone 4 maybe, but after that you're in trouble, bro.
Oh yeah, if you get one of them Galaxies, yes, it's old notes. It's a magazine.
Yeah. That's a definitely. I think they were a Motorola ones from
like a cartoon where your head becomes the phone. You know, they swallow something. You see the whole
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry just. You see it go down. You ever get the kind of craziness is this?
The shape of the two.
He swallowed 3310, and we don't know why. Fortunately, they were able to retrieve it with the help.
How did he swallow that?
It was in his esophagus first. He didn't even went to his stomach.
Front case.
No, the whole thing. He'd even break it down. He just swallowed it whole.
No, this guy must have the world's largest.
So that's what I was thinking. That it was in the stomach. They did an X-ray, you could see it in the stomach, and they needed endoscopy where they put a camera into the mouth to retrieve it. Unfortunately, they retrieved it, but it got me thinking, and they don't say why. So I was like, why would someone swallow their phone? And the only two things I could come up with is that either he was being chased by the authorities, and it's a drug dealer line, and he wanted to swallow the evidence. He sells drugs, and he's talking to the cats on the phone, or he was misbehaving. Maybe he's got a partner and he's got a mistress, and she was going to grab the phone. So he said, "I'm going to swallow it," and that's the best he could come up with. Those are the only two reasons why I think a man would swallow a phone.
You'd break that. You take out the battery. You throw the battery away. When do you need? So when do you need to go? Do you know what? I'm going to endanger my life. Yeah,
that's it. I don't get it either. I do not get it either. But that's what
more information.
We do. We really, really, really do. But no, there wasn't any available. But unfortunately for him, he is feeling better. So, shout him out, and obviously, hopefully, this is a warning to any of our listeners: don't do anything like that at home.
Is he back to playing snakes then?
Back to snakes. Back to what's the other game that was popular on that? I remember I was playing. Was it Splinter Cell or something like that back in the day? So yeah, he's back to playing the.
Not on a.
No, it was what's that? Is it Splinter Cell? Is that?
No.
I must be bugging. No. I must be bugging. But no, he's back to doing what he's doing with his 3310. But let's move on to the main segment of the pod. This is the You Should Know Better segment. This is where we look at something prominent in the news today and we consider it from the antagonist's shoes and ask ourselves, should they have known better? So today, this is fresh off the press. Man like Boris Johnson. So they're back in Parliament now, man. The summer recess is over. They're back to working. We've been working all summer, but they're just back. They're back to working. And the first thing says Boris Johnson has hiked national insurance, or has proposed to hike national insurance by 1.2.5% for those who work in employment, and also he's saying that he's going to hike share dividends for those who own shares in companies by 1.2.5%. He says he needs to do this because of the pandemic and the strain that's had on the NHS and social care, and he's aiming to raise 36 billion, 12 billion per annum starting from April 2022. Obviously, people aren't happy with this, primarily because this breaks a manifesto pledge. When he was running to be our Prime Minister for another 5 years back in 2019, he pledged that he will not raise NI, tax or VAT throughout his tenure in government. So clearly he's broken that promise and people aren't happy. If you go on social media right now, people are letting them know that, look, I thought these are the sort of accusations thrown at Labour, but this is something that the Tories are doing. So we are going to put Junior in the shoes of our leader.
Always these bloody Tory stories that you've got every day.
Everyday Tory.
Always got to be this bloody
everyday
anyway.
Everyday Tory. So sometimes Labour, but everyday Tory. No, we need to find out what's going on, man. This is like, obviously people are struggling out here financially. So Junior, why? Or Mr. Johnson, or the Fuffle, or whatever you call yourself, why are you going to tax the poor when the wealthy are there?
Well, it's not a tax on the poor.
Well, it's gonna hit the poorest hardest.
It's gonna hit everybody.
It's gonna hit everybody. It's the poorest people are relying on food banks. Now you want to take 2.5% extra from the money they need to get to the food bank.
No. Listen, this is a nationwide tax. Okay, everybody is gonna feel the effects equally. Okay, right. This country. Let's get one thing straight. Okay, let's be clear. Okay, let's get one thing. It's you at hand. Yeah, this country has suffered from a pandemic. Okay, huge burden on our country. Right, we have to pay for certain services somehow. We don't have a magic money tree. Okay.
Oh, okay.
The DUP stole that.
Oh, the 1 billion.
Previously, they previously stole that. Okay, and we need to save our magic money trees for other more political issues, not social care. For that, we need to raise.
Well, like Green Seal Capital.
No. If we need to get votes in Parliament, which I've got billions of those anyways, I don't need that anyway. But if I ever need to raise that, then I'll raise the money. But right now, we need to raise taxes to pay for social care. Okay. That's what you communists always talk about, raising taxes to pay for. So I don't see the problem here. So if we look at the NHS, we want it to be fighting fit and back to its best, like Britain. Okay? In order to do that, we're going to raise it by a measly 1.2%. Okay?
It's not measly though. It's not measly. Someone on a 20k salary, that's £130 extra a year. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
They've saved that money during the pandemic, so they're okay. They're fine.
People lost employment.
It's not going. The furlough scheme helped most of them. It's not. You're not going to feed it from your pay. It better be anything. You're fine. Pack of crisps. Okay. And to be honest, me and my friends, we probably won't feel it either because we don't really pay that much tax. But anyway, for most people, like I said, it's going to be nothing. And what do you gain from this? There's so much to gain from this. Most people in certain neighborhoods will now start to see 21 plate Mercedes ambulances. Think what that would do for the local bling.
That's it.
And
If you're
music
suffering
videos.
from a stroke,
Yeah,
you
man.
might as well drive there in style. You know what I'm
You
saying?
want to get there looking good, you know. Some of
Trust
them even
me.
have ambient lighting now. So you know these
Wow.
Mercedes. You may also know you previously had a Mercedes, or maybe you have one now. I don't know. I checked your payslip. Seem to be doing quite well, but yeah. And most areas are going to get probably not one but two new phone operating systems. So when
Wow.
you're calling your local GP, when you're second in line, you may not get cut out like you usually do. So that means you may actually speak to a GP finally. Okay.
They may, yeah, you could put some good. Sometimes people complain that the music is not good enough when listening to waiting on the GP phone, so they can maybe upgrade that as well.
Listen, no. I'm not paying royalties. You listen to whatever my son has produced. No, anyway, this is the sacrifice that this country needs to make. Thank God I won't be making it, but the rest of the country needs to make this because look, we're in a bind and we need to pay for these services somehow. So I think that's fair enough. To my critics, I don't care. I've got a majority. I've got a stonking majority. This is getting passed. This is going to get pushed through, and we are going to work through this. That's all I have to say on the matter. I have to go and hide in the fridge.
That is unbelievable. I think that you can't make a pledge and then go against your pledge. Like obviously, if it devalues.
A pandemic is, you know.
No, but that's the.
I'm not even defending him. Yeah, I'm not even defending him, but that's a very good excuse to have in your back pocket.
Oh, they were laughing. They were laughing when the pandemic hit because obviously, it's my bad. They've got that as you say, as a get out of jail free card, and it's almost like arguably, I'm sure when we'll go into vote in the ballot December 2019, that's when things were cooking in Wuhan. So obviously, Boris didn't take that seriously. He wasn't taking it seriously until probably April. It was in the early March. He was saying, "I was shaking hands with everybody." You know, he was shaking hands with everyone. When during the campaign trail, when you were pledging these things, it was cooking off in Wuhan. You didn't have your eyes on the ball then, so you could have. He could have obviously, no one could foresee how bad the pandemic would get with this. So I'm not going to say he should have known it would have got to this, but I'm just saying that you made a pledge during a time when something was cooking off, and you still made that pledge, and now here you are a couple of years later ripping that pledge up, ripping it up, throwing it in the air and say, I had to do this. Then your word is what?
I definitely think it's a fair point. You know, you want to be a man who sticks to your word, especially when it comes to political promises. Stuff that's in your manifesto, that's what people live and die by effectively. So you always go, if it's in the manifesto, then the people have given me the mandate to carry out whatever's in this manifesto. Whether you really cared about infrastructure or healthcare, doesn't matter. They compensate us all.
This is how we ended up in here.
What I will say is, I don't think anyone could have foreseen that in it's probably going to be 2022, right? We're still going to be 2022. We're still be dealing with this flipping COVID, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
There are other ways for him to raise the money, of course. There's tax loopholes that he could work on. There's tax loopholes. There's corporate tax as well. There's all these general taxes, but that's not what he's choosing. NI is the easy one because what you're doing is you can always say, "Well, I'm not raising income tax. Didn't raise income tax. Didn't raise income." And on the other hand, I'm going to raise that. And so that's what usually catches people out when they say they're not raising taxes. They're not raising taxes. True, but they're going to raise your NI.
Obviously, it feels like a tax. That doesn't mean you just put different words to different things. What do you mean? Like when people say it's not tax, it feels like you're taking money from me that I don't want to give. That's tax to me.
I feel so. I was reading a story and we're saying pension people on the pension are going to have to be paid. You're thinking, bro, I've done my years. Yeah,
that's the bad thing.
How are you coming to teeth my money?
You're taking pensioners' money. Pensioners that can't even work. Now they're relying on this, so they're
relying on the state. They
have to penny pinch now. What is the point of working hard, man? That's what it just gives you think. What is the point? Because
the government come and do anything they like.
Come do anything you like. People be. I'm not saying go do illegal stuff in it, but what I'm saying is people mouth off or get upset with people like Lewis Hamilton who will live abroad where there's less taxation. And can you blame him? Can you blame him for trying to keep what he has if what you're going to have in this country will be taken away from you at a whim. And I'm not saying...
Yeah, I mean, lose is a separate case. What I do think is a bigger problem is tax avoidance. That's the big problem. That's the legal version of tax, where people again, tax evasion, you go to jail for stuff like that. But tax avoidance, where you have clear loopholes that allow people.
Oh well, look at the big corporations. You've got these multinational companies that will be telling their shareholders, "We're making billions of dollars."
Yeah.
And you go and you look at their accounts and see the tax they paid in the UK. It's laughable. We all know this. Why aren't you going for them? Why aren't you going for them?
Well, that's the problem. And ultimately, he doesn't have the mandate to do that because, like I said, you've got the stonking majority, right? And most of his proposals are business friendly. So at the end of the day, he doesn't owe any of us, to chase these people. He doesn't. He actually doesn't. And that's why you need to,
we need an opposition that is strong enough to, after they were asking Keir Starmer what he was thinking, he was shuffling. Anyway. That is politics. That is politics. But it looks like we're gonna be paying out more money. So you guys want to be living your life next summer. Just count this NI number and NI money. Put it to the side first before you plan anything.
In London, you'll be dealing with a TFL tax hike anyway. So that would be your main concern. But anyway, 4.6%, buddy. Anyway, I'm gonna give you a story, Michael. Less politics. More entertainment and arts. We're going to jump on to Wiley.
Jeez.
Wiley, who's been banished from social media. He's got like, I don't know if they're burner accounts, but he's got accounts that he posts and stuff. He does get videos out. Like I see some of the platforms posting it. But anyway, Wiley, the 42-year-old grime artist, the grime godfather, has been charged with assault and burglary over London break-ins, allegedly. Okay. Allegedly. So the grime artist is due to appear in court after he was charged for assault and burglary, right? And it looks like his court case is going to be, I think, the 13th of September. The police report suggests that at around 10 p.m. on Saturday 28th, police were called to a flat at a certain road and a certain street. And officers attended the location. They said a man had entered the flat, assaulted the occupant, and caused criminal damage to the property. The man was arrested and taken into custody. So if they've arrested this man and taken him into custody, still I'm going to say allegedly, but he didn't even get away. But anyway, Wiley, yeah. One of the most iconic people in British modern day history. Okay, I'm going to give you that much of an accolade. Okay, I wouldn't say you're struggling for peas. I don't know what the situation was. This is assault and burglary. I don't know what's going on. Maybe this social media stuff has really hit the pocket. I don't know. But what I need to know, Wiley, is what's going on here. Obviously, you can't say too much. It's an ongoing case. You're going to be in court soon, right? But we the people, we're going to use this platform. I know you're banned on every other platform. We're going to use this podcast to allow you to explain yourself.
All right. You know, this guy that they're accusing me of attacking is a kickboxer.
It's a kickboxer.
Did you know?
No.
So what's
that got to do with why you sound like a pub?
You think me? You think you? All right. You know, obviously I'm from the East End. You think you really think me, a musician, a grime MC? It's
LA from Essex.
A grime MC. Now I'm from Bow. E3. E3. You really think me, a grime, is going to go up and fight a kickboxer? Are you out of your mind?
Well, this doesn't suggest there was a fight. It doesn't sound that there was a fray. This says assault and burglary.
Would you go up and would you knock on the door of a Frank Bruno and go fight him? You wouldn't.
These
men fight for a living. Why would I go fight? I'm flipping Wiley.
Again, it says you entered the flat. There's nothing suggesting that you knocked on the door. It just says you entered the flat. I don't know if the flat door was open. Maybe you could shed some light. What's going on?
It wasn't. It's someone I know. And he was wearing my Rolex.
Was he wearing your Rolex?
Yeah. So
I thought, do
a Rolex sweep.
Yeah.
Get it back.
So did you burgle your own? Did this guy steal your equipment and you've now got it back?
look, if someone's got your watch or your something like that, you go get it back. If you think I'm going to go there and start kicking a kickboxer,
Yeah.
you're out of your mind.
But okay, so two things can't be simultaneously true. Okay, so you've gone to get your stuff back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you wouldn't have gone in there because he's a kickboxer.
No, I'm not going to go kick a kickboxer. You crazy? Assault. You think it's going to assault who?
Is it Wiley or Danny Dyer?
No. If you hit Wiley talk, he's proper East End. He's proper East End.
Right, he's got his Jamaican influences in him. Yeah. But yeah, I don't even know what this is. This is fresh off the press.
Yeah,
there's not
fresh.
even that much news reporting. This thing is kicking off in East London, but fam, we need more. Dude's gonna be in court 13th of September. I need to know
soon.
I need to know what the hell happened, because it's reminding me of what's his face? What's that dude's name?
What, Stormzy and Chip?
Nah. Why I forgot the glove? OJ Simpson.
Oh, OJ Simpson.
It's right. OJ Simpson. But it's like, why are you doing these things? Why not the murder, but like, you know, when he got done for he's robbing his own memorabilia back.
Oh, yeah.
And then gave him the largest sentence.
Yeah, they convicted him for that, but they let him off for murder.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, like, why? How have you got yourself into this? So I don't know what's going on.
It's quite bizarre. It's quite bizarre. Obviously, he did put out a video where he was like laughing at the concept or the idea of going. Do you think I'm going to go fight a kickboxer and stuff like that? But same, when you're angry, you do silly stuff. There was a time T.I. went up to Mayweather and swung at him. So you know the fact that someone's a professional fighter isn't going to stop you if you're madder than mad. If you're proper angry, you may think you can knock them out. You may think that, you know, all these other people that fought them in the professional setting didn't have the tools to deal with them. Yeah. So you may feel in your anger, you may feel you've got the tenacity and the ability to take him out. But it doesn't make any sense. What are you doing at 42, allegedly running up people's houses for stuff? I do not know.
Yeah, he just doesn't need to be in all of that. Not with everything that's been going on with him as well.
You
can't catch a break, Wiley. And we hope you get through this period, man.
Most definitely, man. One of the greatest to do it in our scene, and original OG. So you know you don't see the OGs bow out like that.
For real.
But let's move on to the last segment of the podcast. This is the throwback segment. This is where we look at something that's happened this week, and this is a very poignant week. This is the week beginning the 6th of September, and we look at something that's happened in yesteryear, and we just throw it back and reminisce. So, Junior, what have you got? I can probably guess, but just go into it.
Yeah, so it's obviously going to be September 11th. Poignant day in everyone's modern history.
I remember this one.
This one you remember? Not,
Diana,
you didn't remember, but this
one. This one.
Yeah. To be honest, I remember exactly where I was this day. I was at my friend's house, and usually when I go around there, we'd watch like cartoons and stuff like that. Their dad came. He said, "Not today, boys." Put it on the news. I was like, "Allow it."
So no Ricky and Morty.
I was like 2001, man. Said Ricky and Morty. Cartoons.
A real cartoon, cow and chicken cartoon.
John and Bravo, them man there.
John and Bravo.
Johnny Bravo.
John and Bravo.
Johnny Bravo. So yeah, I remember we were watching that, and then he switched it, and I was like, "What's going on?" And you just see these two towers on fire. I was like, "Oh my god!" I didn't even know what they represented or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm sure most people know there was an attack on the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and there was also a third flight which heading towards either Washington DC or the U.S. Capitol.
Yeah.
That one ended up crashing in a field in like Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, correct.
Passengers managed to wrestle the militants. But yeah, 2,977 people died. That's excluding the terrorists who lost their lives.
Wow.
I don't want to round up the number either, because I think each of those people had individual lives and whatnot. I'm going to round up this number. There were 25k people who were injured, because I can't go through all that. But anyway, like I said, I remember hearing the news, and I remember they evacuated the Canary Wharf as well.
Oh, raw!
Yeah, I remember seeing that
So
yeah.
London sort of landmarks. They were concerned.
Yeah. Obviously, we thought we were. They're like, yeah, they must be trying to take us as well. But
You imagine that
they weren't really checking for London like that. Still,
yeah. At that point, anyway, they did come in.
They came. Yeah, that's when we went into. But like I was about to say, like that's when we eventually this catapulted the whole move into invasion of Afghanistan first, because Al Qaeda did it. Taliban were hiding Al Qaeda, and then the US said hand them over. They said no, so they invaded Afghanistan. We obviously joined with NATO, and then Iraq next as well. So
yeah, I've been watching documentaries about it, man. BBC done a nice documentary where they spoke to Bush and they're speaking to a man like Dick Cheney and them man there, and then Netflix has done a documentary as well called Turning Point, which is very good, which looks at the wider things, looks at why they went into Afghanistan and the withdrawal and how things have been up to this day. You know, obviously it's been in the news recently because obviously as soon as the US withdrew their troops, the Taliban just took over the Afghan government and just ran through it. 3 days they ran out.
What, in Kabul? They took over. They were presidential palace.
Yeah.
I we touched upon that before.
We did. It's a mazine. So it's just wow. It's just like America's largest war. I think they said over, is it 2,000? Is it 2,000 or 24,000? I don't get the figures wrong because it's disrespectful. But there's many American troops. Like I think it's 600,000 of local Afghans have been killed in the war. So it's you can see why there was appetite from the US to withdraw, but it's definitely just reverberated around scary.
Yeah, it's part of our modern culture, and it's a story that not a lot of people understand where it originates from, but this is definitely.
Oh yeah, all this type of stuff. Yeah, because obviously I don't want to bore people with just rounding up, but I was just like, oh yeah. So they were saying that the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, then the US were helping the local Afghan people and investing in them, and they were giving money and military support to the Taliban and organizations like that, who then fought the Soviets, and then. From there was a feeling in Afghanistan from the local people there that, you know, we need to have a Muslim way of life and the West don't support that, so let's attack the West. And then it's almost like you're now fighting the people that you were backing before, and it's just...
Well, so they were backing the Mujahideen.
Yeah.
They were backing Mujahideen, who was separate from the Taliban.
But there's 7 groups. Apparently there were like 7 different Mujahideens. Yeah,
they have the Northern Alliance, right?
Yeah.
And so the Mujahideen were attacking the Soviets. They got rid of them.
Yeah.
And then the Mujahideen basically took control of Afghanistan. But within that, there was a civil war in which the Taliban removed the Mujahideen. So the Taliban never received support from the US.
Oh, okay.
My knowledge, anyway.
Correct. Yeah, Juno knows more about this. He did archaeology at uni.
Oh, whatever. Why would we be digging up stuff from 2001? We was digging up a mine in Helmand province.
Helmand, bro. What did I even have as my throwback? Mine obviously wasn't as poignant as yours. I just had it's something that happened in 1985, the Hazel disaster. So this is in Belgium. In Belgium, 1985 European Cup final between Liverpool and Juventus. There was a situation in the crowd. It is believed from the reports I'm reading was that there was a neutral area and there was Juventus fans, Liverpool fans, and apparently Liverpool fans were accused, and some of them were actually formally charged and convicted of running towards the Juventus fans. I don't know, to cause some sort of commotion or whatnot, and there was crash injuries because I think they couldn't escape, and 39 Juventus fans actually and unfortunately died. So this led to the expulsion of today, yeah, it's quite a sad pod. There was led to the expulsion of English clubs for 5 years. They weren't allowed to compete in European competition, and some of these Liverpool fans were actually charged and convicted in court. Some of them were sent to prison. Some of them had suspended sentences. So it caused a lot of tension, obviously, with the reputation English football fans had around Europe. Obviously, very much seen as hooligans. That was in the 80s. Obviously, I think the reputation has hopefully somewhat improved, but then I'd like to say somewhat improved, but then we did
Wembley
see
the other day, bro.
Yeah, Wembley, yeah.
The other day.
England v Scotland. People just said so. I think in this country, we like to think our reputation or how we behave at football matches has improved. It's more family friendly. Nothing has changed. It's just our perception has changed, but nothing has changed on the ground. So
I think maybe there's a case for like domestic football and domestic league, but as soon as it comes to national team, or like a Champions League finals, like Chelsea fans are smashing chairs. Like the behavior just switches. I don't know when they go abroad or when it's got anything to do with the national team. I feel like the hooliganism just really comes out. Yeah,
I think it's the whole the feeling of patriotism, and it just spreads into some sort of nationalistic sort of vibe.
There's yobos, man.
Yeah, I love a tear up. that is it's always like, it's so funny. When it comes to football, we're all on the same side, but obviously very much last year during the whole Black Lives Matter movement, there were people that were coming to fight people protesting for Black Lives Matter. Yeah. And it's like, remember the guy that got caught pissing on the statue or the ornament of the police officer that passed away? He didn't know what he was doing, but when they questioned him, what he did, I don't know. Just come for a day out. Come for a day out. Some Muslims. I mean, for a tear up.
I don't know, but what I do know is that we need to wrap this pod up.
Okay, yeah, we're going overtime. So, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for checking in with us again. Please let us know what you feel and think. This has been an episode of You Should Know Better. Make sure you have a good week and don't do anything that will make us say you should know better. Take care and peace.